And welcome back to another Wildflower Talks, weight loss and more. Here to give you some midweek motivation and discuss all things weight loss. And today I have the lovely Catherine joining me, the Catherine Glazebrook, award-winning consultant, incredible mother, woman, human, and I am so glad that she is joining me tonight to just have a good old natter and have a chat. So if you have any questions, as always, leave them down in the questions box down below. We did have a couple come over on stories, so I will ask them throughout the evening as well. But do ask questions through the link at the bottom because sometimes they can get lost in the chat. So I'm just going to wait for Catherine to request to join and then we can get the conversation started. But I'm so excited to have a chat with her this evening. Hope everyone is well. Where is she? Let me see if I can add her in. Oh, I love technology. Hi.
Hi.
You okay?
I'm good. I'm good. Can you see me?
Yes, I can. I'm just gonna shuffle a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like I need to shuffle. I've got a new light ring thing, which I'm trying out. So the colour might be a bit weird, but we're going to go with it.
You're absolutely fine. How are you, my darling?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Yeah, I'm doing really well,
Yeah.
actually. Had a good day. A good day.
Because how many weeks have you been back on plan now? It's been quite a while now, hasn't it?
This is my 9th week.
9.
So I have my 8th week weigh-in on Sunday. So Sunday coming will be my 9th week.
Doesn't it just fly by? Like, I feel like the first 6 weeks, I always say, are a bit of a drag. And when you get past 6 weeks, it's like, shit, where is the time going?
Yeah, do you know what? It's one of those things, isn't it? You look forward, you think, oh God, 2 months, looking forward 2 months. It's like, oh my God, can I do this for 2 months? And then you look back and you're like, my God, 2 months is gone. Like, looking back, it does fly.
It's like when you're pregnant, though, isn't it? Like, you wait for that 12-week scan, and that feels like it takes a lifetime. And then between 12 weeks and like 36 weeks, you blink, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm going to have a baby in a minute. And it's the same with weight loss. Like, you just, all of a sudden, you blink, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be like hitting big milestones coming up. But before we get ahead of ourselves and talk about some of those milestones and where you are, do you want to take us back to kind of the beginning of your journey with One to One when you first started it? Because obviously you're huge now, but how did
Getting
you get
smaller,
first
though.
introduced?
Getting smaller, age.
Well, no, I mean in One to One you had. But how did you first get introduced to the plan? How did you come about it?
So I'd had my first daughter, Grania. And then I was trying all the diets, And the one thing I've always been is really, really active. I've ridden horses. I used to have a couple of PT sessions a week, like for fun, not just, crazy. That used to be me. And I was always really active. Always, I ran for fun and I did all these things before children came along. And I just assumed, like we all do, that life would continue to have a baby and she'd come everywhere with me. But no, that stopped completely. And I'd never had to watch my weight before. I'd always been like slightly on the bigger side, but not, not where I am now or anywhere near that. I was always, quite a curvy size 12 and never even thought about my weight, never thought about anything. It was just who I was. And then when I had Grania and I carried on eating the way I'd always eaten, but did no activities, and then found it very hard to find the time to do it again afterwards. I thought, how do I get this weight off? So I tried all the diets, all the ones that we all tried, and I wasn't getting the results. And then a friend of mine said, oh, someone at work did this diet, you should try it. So I immediately went on to the website to find a consultant, and I found the lovely Alice. And I messaged her and I said, oh, I'm not really sure about this diet, don't know much about it, but I'm willing to give it a try. And she said, I'm actually in your area at the weekend, why don't I pop by? And she walked in, she had a tiny little 3-week-old baby in the car seat with her, and I was sold on her, fell in love with her immediately. I got on the plan. I had good results straight away. But when I lost 2 stone within 2 months, thereabouts, maybe a little bit less. And then I found myself pregnant with Rosie. So
As happens when you're losing weight,
exactly,
babies just seem to pop out of nowhere.
flying out of everywhere. And then, so Alice said to me, you should do, you know, we'd become quite good friends. She knew I wasn't happy going back to work, just because I'd gone back to work and I was in the fortunate position that my mum and my mother-in-law were looking after Grania just 2 days a week, but I still hated leaving her. And Alice said, you could quit your job and do this. And so I spoke to my husband and we figured out that I was earning about, 550 quid on maternity leave. And he said, well, why don't you, if you could earn that, I'll pay the bills, because I have been for the last 9 months or whatever, year, whilst you've been off. You can stay at home with the children and that'll be your pocket money. Like, I'll pay all the bills. So that was the idea. And very quickly, I realised that I could earn a little bit more than 550 quid a month. So, yeah, that's how it started.
And you've never looked back?
Never looked back. Then I had Rosie, continued with what I was doing, like loving it. And then I just started really enjoying myself and really finding my feet. I think I've done loads of jobs and I've never really loved anything. I loved my last job before I was pregnant. I loved it, loved the people. And when I went back, it was a very different situation. I wasn't regarded in the same way that I was before. I was just, you know, a drag on the payroll that came in 2 days a week. So
you feel so different, don't you? I was speaking to someone about this the other day, and I was like, before I left work, I felt very established in my career. I knew who Rachel was within my career. I knew what my goals were. I knew what my strengths were. And then going back in after having Poppy, I know it's cliche to say having a baby changes you, but I had never felt so disconnected from myself ever. And, you know, again, I had postnatal depression, things like that, which may have contributed to it, but I completely felt like I'd lost autonomy over my career, because suddenly I had to try and fit a corporate world with my new family world in a post-pandemic world.
yeah.
And none of it was gelling together. And for me, this job has given me, like, I think I said in my stories before, like, I don't have to worry about childcare. That is probably the biggest relief any mother can have in a job, is not have to worry about childcare.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things I found about this job was, you know, I know we all say like, oh, you know, I am my own boss, but I was like, you know, it matters to me. If I just don't bother getting up in the morning, and if I don't bother seeing any of my slimmers, it's all on me. And that I loved the responsibility. I loved the fact that my slimmers cared about me so much as well. They needed
isn't it the
me,
best?
and I love that. Yeah.
Honestly, it never fails to amaze me how much your slimmers genuinely care about you as a human. Like, I will have, like, if I've been on my stories and I've not been well, or like Poppy's had a difficult day, you can guarantee every single slimmer I speak to that day will be like, how's Poppy? Are you okay? You know, don't speak for too long. If I've got my 80th attempt, 80th tonsillitis episode, they're like, no, you go rest. Like, genuinely, the slimmers that you work with, it's the most rewarding job. And obviously we come from a background where we are slimmers, so I know you did the plan initially before you fell pregnant.
Yeah.
And now you're on that journey again. Has this time been different for you? Because obviously before you were kind of naive when you went into the plan, you hadn't done it before. Now you know this plan like the back of your hand. You could probably read us out the steps, but with your eyes shut.
Yeah.
So was it different entering into it this time?
Yeah, definitely. Like, even though I know all that stuff and I know the steps a bit backwards and forwards and upside down, I'm still a slimmer. I'm still a vulnerable person who needs support as a slimmer. And it's been very, very different this time, because for a couple of reasons. I always knew I was going to have more children last time and the time before. So whilst I was kind of getting back on plan, I never took it seriously. Whereas this time, I know that there's an end, and I know that there's an end not very far away. It is far away. It's stones away, but it is there. Whereas before it was always like, oh, I just lose as much weight as I can, and then I'll have a baby, and I'll da 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 da. Then,
So,
but I,
that was me when I did the plan last time. I was like, right, I just need to get that positive pregnancy test. And I always say my downfall was the fact that I got that pregnancy test and ordered a Chinese. Like, that tells you how seriously I took the plan before. It was literally a means to getting pregnant. And it worked fantastically. Like, it does work fantastically for that. But probably also I put 6 stone on when I was pregnant.
yeah, well, the thing is, I put weight on with the other two, and this time I've put on an extra 2 stone. So I have lost 2 stone, but I'm actually now, even though everyone says to me, Catherine, you look great, and I feel great, I'm a long way from where I was. I'm still a couple of years ago at my full-term pregnancy weight. And that blows my
Yeah,
mind.
it's hard.
That blows my mind. But yeah, this time round is very, very different because I am properly committed to it. And everyone says they're committed to doing it. But when you know, you know. And I know I had a bad...
What do you think? I was just going to say, what do you think the turning point was for you? Was it just knowing that you weren't going to get pregnant again? Or was there anything else that kind of made you go, this has to be my time now?
I mean, last year I just took the whole year off and dedicated it to Mary. And I breastfed her for the whole year. And I mean, she had allergies and stuff, so I needed to keep breastfeeding. And also, like, I loved it, and like I was able to do it. It wasn't easy, but I was able to do it, and I wanted to continue that. And I thought to myself, and I did the whole, similar to what we do as dieters. All I need to do is I need to get to two. I used to do it in 2 weeks. I've got to do 2 weeks time. I'll just do it for 2 weeks, and then I'll decide if I can continue. And then I get to 2 weeks, I'll be like, I can do another 2 weeks. I can do another 2 weeks. So just like making those small milestones. And then I realized that actually I was over 6 months. I could probably do this for a year. And I just put myself second best to Mare. And obviously, because, she's my baby. Oh,
She's a little human.
She's growing so fast. Oh, God. She's even changing. She's changing in the face now. Like, she's becoming...
When they get, like, the toddler face instead of the baby face.
Yeah, like, gets
Poppy's
longer.
now going from baby face to, like, little girl face.
Oh.
And do you know when they start getting proper legs? So, like, when they go from just having, like, rolls to actually getting knees and ankles, and you're like, oh, God, that's so hard.
Yeah, oh, my God, it is so hard. But, like, I kind of got to Christmas, and like, obviously I'd spent the whole of my pregnancy and the whole of the first year of her life in a pandemic. So I hadn't really been anywhere. And then I got to Christmas and a few things started happening. People started going out again, and I started getting invited out again. And I was going out to these things, and I was struggling to find clothes. I wasn't struggling to find clothes because there are some great shops that cater for plus size ladies now. So I was finding clothes, and I was going out and feeling great. And then I was seeing the cold, hard reality of a photo. And that is not what I thought I looked like. Convention, I told you about this. Convention, the outfit I bought for convention, I felt so fancy in it. Right, I looked in the mirror, I looked great.
You look fancy.
I felt so fancy. And I got up on stage and I won, the award of all awards, Diamond Champion. And I said to my husband, take loads of photos. And he took loads of photos. And I got off the stage, like, desperate to run over and grab the phone and have a look at all these amazing photos. So I was on stage, I was like, yeah, look at me. My trip was like, yeah. That's my water bottle. How good am I?
Go on.
But I looked at those photos and my heart, it didn't sink. It dropped out of me. I felt sick. I literally got up and I went to the loo. I deleted every single photo. I have no photos of me. There's one photo of me on stage, which somebody else has and wouldn't let me delete. But I deleted all the photos off Lee's phone. I was mortified. And I just knew then, something had to change. It wasn't actually, it wasn't then actually. It was just kind of like, that was the beginning of it. And then New Year's Eve, I had my best friends over for dinner and my mum and dad and Lee and I, so it was just the 6 of us. And I said to them, I was like, right, guys, I'm going to lose 5 stone. I'm going to lose 5 stone this year. I'm putting it out there, and they were like, are you Catherine?
We're manifesting it.
Yeah, they were like, Catherine, you're lovely as you are. You've just had a baby. I was like, I haven't just had a baby. maybe a year ago. She's practically walking now. And I told them all, and I put it all out there, and I said, either you're in 100% or you're not my friend. Like either you're 100% behind me, or you're this is abuse of a friendship. And like, this was my friend, obviously not my mum. And she's been so supportive and so great. But I really feel like putting it out there just made it come true. Putting it out there made
And
it a
being
thing.
confident with it. Like I was like that with Jem. I always like she always jokes with me and says like I came to her and I was like, right, I'm gonna lose 10 stone. I ended up 9.5. I didn't need to lose 10. I was like, I'm gonna lose
look
10
at you.
stone. I'm gonna be woman of the year, and then I'm gonna become a consultant. I'm gonna make this a full-time job. And I said that in January last year as someone who was nearly 20 stone, who had no confidence in herself. But I was like, I'd watched The Secret on Netflix. So you got to put it out there. And I kind of just said these things without really knowing if it would happen or what I was doing. But you know what? I'm such a believer that if you put it out there, there's something about committing and saying it's going to happen and not being wishy-washy with it, even if you're not sure exactly how you'll get there. You know, and Jamie does it all the time. He'll say stuff to me and I'm like, you're off your head. Like, what are you talking about? And it's like, no, we're gonna put it out there. We're gonna at least try and believe it's gonna happen. And it's one of those things, if you kind of commit it to happening, it's a lot more likely than not. They say, don't they, writing your goals down makes it 80% more likely to happen. That's not even manifestation. That's just getting a pen and paper and writing a goal down. 80% more likely to achieve it.
A goal written down becomes a plan. That's what they say.
Yes.
I actually said to Gemma recently.
Taking that.
Write that down. I actually said to Gemma recently this exact thing. Like I told everyone I was going to do it. I told you lot all over Instagram. I told my family, my friends, but I don't think I ever really believed it. And the other day,
and people think you did, though. People think you do believe it because you said it. But like, yeah, but I say to people like, no, I literally did not. Why would I think it was going to work whenever it had never worked the 15 years before? Like, I didn't think it was going to happen, but I sure as hell was going to give it my best shot and try and make myself believe it was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it suddenly dawned on me the other day that actually this probably is going to happen. And it was only the other day. I've been telling everyone this is what I'm doing. I'm going to lose 5 stone. Da, 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 da. And the other day I was like, do you know what? I said to Lee, I was like, I'm going to lose 5 stone. He was like, yeah, I know, you've been saying that for like last 8 weeks. And I was like, yeah, but I am actually going to do it now.
I'm actually going to do it. Yeah, Jamie was the same. I remember when I hit 5 stone, like there's the video and I get a bit emotional in the video. I'm like, I'm actually going to do this. Like, I'm over halfway now. Like, I am going to do it. And then I remember whenever, obviously we put the nominees in for the Slimmer Awards. And for those who don't know, you don't pick your category for the Slimmer Awards. You put your nominations in and then the panel at head office choose which category to place certain slimmers into, depending on their story, their, weight loss, etc., etc. And when Gemma rang to say, you've been shortlisted for Woman of the Year, I was like, this is going to happen. But still, on the night of the awards, do you think I thought it was going to happen? Not a chance. Before I went down there, I was shaking like a thin dog. Like, I was so nervous. But that was because it was that thing of, this is all that I built up to. I've told myself it's going to happen. So when it did happen, that moment, I was like, I can do anything. That's when I think I really got the confidence to be like, it wasn't losing the weight necessarily that made me think I could do it. But when I got that, I was like, I can do anything. And then whenever obviously started the business, when I then handed my notice in for that, I was like, I was nervous. But Jamie was like, why would you be nervous? Look, like, we're doing it. Like, you're doing it. You just need to commit to it. And like you said with Lee, being like, yeah, you're doing it.
Yeah.
Don't know what.
Like, yeah, but I didn't really think I was going to be able to do it.
I don't think I'm doing it now. I still sometimes think like, shit, is this actually going to work?
Oh my God.
And obviously Jamie's leaving his job now as well. So even more. I know, but it just goes to show, doesn't it? If you, like you said, if you believe and you've got a plan and, this can be so much, this can transform your life in every single facet. Like, beyond what you even think, it can change your life, through friendships, business, weight loss, not sweating in the shower when you're having a quick shower, all the little things in life that it can change. and building this whole community. And obviously when you came back this time, you were really brave and you put your story out, you put that video out there when you first started. What, I mean, I think I know who may have inspired this, the OG herself on old Insta, but what kind of made you think this time I'm going to put my story out there?
Yeah, the OG herself, Gemma.
Old Miss Gemma Rennick.
She said to me, you've got to do it. You've got to be accountable. But it was you. And I'm not just blowing smoke. Honestly, I've taken so much inspiration from you. And I hope you don't mind me saying this, but you were heavier than me when you started. And I'm about a foot taller than you. And I was like, oh my God, she was ahead of me. Now she's miles behind me, like, if you know what I mean, weight wise. And I was like, if she can do it, like, and you're a different person as well. Like, I see the happiness in your face just in photos, in stills, and that is so inspiring. It just goes to show that, you know, taking control of your life is something that can be done, and that you've done it. And that's what inspired me, and that's what's inspired me. And, you know, when I put that out there, I didn't think I was going to do a weekly video. I didn't think I was going to do so. I didn't think I was going to be so active about it on my stories and stuff. But the love and the support that I have had from everybody, you know, people, I want to say strangers, but they're not now. They've become Insta friends. I mean, you're an Insta friend. I met you for the first time in person a couple of weeks ago. How cool was that?
It is the best community for that. And I think that I always say that to my...
I think because we're talking about weight loss, we've already broken down so many personal barriers.
Yeah.
And we're already so open. We have moved, you know, we've stepped over shaking hands and we're putting arms around each other, you know, whether that be like literally or metaphorically. That's what it is. That is what, like, this network is all about.
I think that's why your bonds become so strong, and I think that's why, like, your relationship with your slimmers becomes so strong, because, like you said, like, I would rather have given you my PIN number than how much I weigh. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that number is shrouded with so many emotions. So, like, when you tell me your weight, to me, that is just a number. That doesn't encompass who you are. I don't look at that and think of anything. That to me is just a metric of your pull by gravity to the earth.
I say that as well, your relationship with gravity. Yeah, I say that.
But to you, that number, or is it shrouded in so much? So for you to trust me with that, and to trust me to kind of have to start touching on some of the things that number means to you, God, that relationship is special. And like, I always feel so honoured that people would trust me with that, because I know how much it took to give that to Gemma. Like, I you know, reaching out was one thing, telling her my story was one thing, but when she said, what's your height and weight, it was like, oh gosh, like, that's a very vulnerable... Yeah. But then you, again, similarly to me, chose to actually share your losses and share all of those numbers. Was there any hesitance to you to share what you were losing each week, or to share those numbers, or did you feel all right about sharing that?
At first, there was the hesitance, because I thought, if I start, I've got to continue. And what if I don't have a great week? So I thought to myself, well, that's not an option then. That's off the table. Like, not having a bad week is off the table. And
oh my God, don't do that to you. I was like that as well. I was like, I cannot go on Instagram and embarrass myself.
But the great thing is, like, my losses have been, I've got right here, right in front of me on the desk.
I love your losses, I'll be honest, because I can use you as an example to slimmers, because you are a very good example of somebody who has a bit of a pattern and you have lower losses.
Yeah. Like, do I want those? So I've had 1, 2, 3. I've had 4 in my 8 weeks. 4 of those have been £2 and under. Like, that sickens me, because I did nothing different to the weeks when I lost £5. But
what have you lost overall?
Yeah, 2 stone, £3.
Exactly.
In 8 weeks. And, like, you know, I see people saying, like, on the community, but not the community, on the Facebook page, you know, I've only lost £1 this week, or, you know, I've stayed the same again this week, oh God, is it worth it? Is it worth it? And I want to shake them and say, so you got two options here. Suck it up and take that £1 loss, or stay fat, stay unhappy,
Yeah.
go back to where you were. Like, that is not an option for me. And for me now, I've lost 2 stone. I'm delighted with that. So what I'm going to say sounds a bit weird, but I would rather be 2 stone heavier and stay there than stay where I am now. I've lost 2 stone. I've got to go the distance. And,
Yeah.
you know, not doing it is not an option for me now. And I only wish I'd started 6 months ago. I know I've got my reasons, Mary and breastfeeding and things like that, but it just goes to show in like that short amount of time how much can be achieved. I did a little reel today with Mary. I put Mary on the scale. She's 1 stone 10. And I was carrying her around.
Hang on there.
Oh my God. She was so whiny today. So I was carrying her around. And I was like, Jesus, you're so heavy. And I thought, oh, I wonder how much you weigh.
How heavy are you actually?
Yeah, so I put her on the scales. I was like, oh my God, I've lost her plus another half a stone in just a couple of weeks. Like,
I know do you know what? I do use Poppy as a physical representation to a lot of slimmers, because they'll be like, I've only lost 1.5 stone in like say 2 months, and I'd be like, yes, you've lost my child plus probably an extra arm or leg. Do you want to carry her around all day? Because I sure as hell don't. She's a lump. And it's kind of thinking about those things. And I also like, you know, when you can go on Google and find like a stone is equivalent to a chihuahua, and like those kind of things.
I bloody love those.
Because I'm like,
one of my
you need
clients
to realise how much weight that is.
Yeah. I mean, do you know what cinder block is? No, one of my slimmers messaged me the other day. She's lost the same as me. She's like, we've both lost a cinder block. I was like, that sounds great.
What is it?
I don't know. I need to Google that. A cinder block, anyway.
Anyone who can leave in the comments what that is, that would be fabulous.
But what a cinder block is.
It is so true. Do you think that because you're on this journey now, that you're having a different relationship with your slimmers as a result of it as well?
Oh my God, yeah. I am a bit of a tyrant these days. I mean, the great thing is, so many of my slimmers are seeing me doing the step I'm doing, which is step 1B, and they're saying, I want to do that. I want to do that step, because that's what I'm getting great results at. And that's great. And I feel like I've got a real like camaraderie type thing with those guys, and we're all on the same weight loss journey. Well, we're all on the same weight loss journey, but we're all on the same plan, etc., etc. But I do have a little bit of, you know, when people are saying it's hard, like, yeah, I know.
Oh, people are saying it's a builder's block, by the way, for a cinder's block.
Oh, a builder's
for houses.
Do you know what? I have this in my office. Oh, it's a brick wrapped in paper, and it's £5. So
I saw this in one of your update videos.
Yeah, so this is a little bit like you saying pick Poppy up. £5 is a brick, and a brick is great because everyone knows what a brick is, and everyone could get their hands on a brick. Oh God, it's so heavy.
It is though. It really is, like carrying that around all the time.
Yeah.
Just carrying. You know what it's like carrying a lot of shopping into the house. Like, come on, guys. Like, don't put your weight losses down. But you do have that kind of camaraderie, I suppose, with your slimmers. Like, you're in the trenches together. I always say to everyone that your relationship with your consultant is really vital. But actually, my relationship with you is going to be very different to the relationship you make with other people that are on plan. So, like, I had Nat, like me and Nat are like slimming sisters. Like, we started the plan 3 days apart, very similar amount of weight to lose. And we formed a real, like, tight relationship because whilst Gemma was our consultant, and it's obviously incredible, me and Nat were in the trenches together. So we both got those day-to-day struggles.
Yeah.
And I suppose you then get to play both of those hats as one with your slimmers.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, when, you know, the odd, I don't know, chicken nugget slips in, I'm like, you know, do you not think I want to eat a chicken nugget? That chicken burger that McDonald's was all over, chicken Big Mac, God, I wanted that. I was never going to eat it, mind you. But, you know, it's one of those, it's a little bit like, I know it's hard. Like, I get it.
Yeah, and you know it's hard in the here and now. Like, I can say to my slimmers, I know how hard it is. I did step 1B for 7.5 months. I know how hard it is. But in that moment where they're having a stressful
Yeah.
day, they're like, yeah,
What would
piss
you
off,
know?
Rach. You don't know how hard it is. It was ages ago for you. I'm like, no, I do. I really do remember that. Trust me, I remember crying to Gemma with Just Eat basket full of food. Like, I am there with you. But it is, I think it's a really special thing. And I have team members that are on plan and they're always worried about having, you know, being able to have slimmers whilst they're on plan themselves. But I just say it's such a
Oh, I tell you
special
what,
relationship to have with
we've got
slimmers.
the monopoly. Us on plan, we've got the monopoly over you guys because
Yeah,
we're
you
on
do.
plan. And do you know what? I was talking to my team today. I had my top team over. And we've got a really good training program for new consultants coming into the business, and we've had it for, well, I designed it like 2 years ago or something. So I wanted them all together because we all use it now. Everybody's team's growing quite quickly. So I wanted everybody to come together and everybody have a say and to redevelop it a little bit more. And one of the bits we've put in there is get on plan. You know, in your first week as a consultant, get on plan, and blog it. Doesn't matter whether you haven't really got anything to lose. You know, go on one of the higher steps and show the health benefits and the nutritional benefits and stuff to being
Well,
on
look at
plan.
Georgie. She's done the whole thing on step 4. Like,
and unbelievable. She is so cool. I really like her.
I mean, and she's looking so fit.
So fit.
Like, honestly, when she puts her reels up, I keep saying to her, she's getting on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
She could be making more money off that now.
She'd make fortune.
But it's so true. I think showing that, and you know, it's different horses for different courses. And I always say you go to consultants because there's something in them that you see that you're attracted to. And for some slimmers, they want to have that camaraderie with their consultant. They want to be on plan with them. They want to see
the real person.
Going through it. Other people may want somebody who is in maintenance like me or Gemma, and we offer something slightly different. But that's the beauty of the one-to-one diet now that it is virtual, is that you as a slimmer have the autonomy to pick the consultant that you find an affinity with.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's really special. I think that almost makes the one-to-one stronger than
100%.
Just going to maybe your local consultant.
And I would always say to my slimmers, like, you know, we don't always get, like, as people, we don't always love everybody, do we? And I would always say to my slimmers, I would much rather, if they didn't feel that we were the right fit together, I would much rather recommend another consultant for them rather than them fall off the wagon and lose it altogether. I mean, my best friend, Chloe, she is like, all my best friends have joined the business. They saw what I was doing and they joined in. But Chloe lives a mile away from me. And my mum is a consultant as well and lives opposite. I mean, if I look up and out the window, I can see her house. Like, and she's a consultant as well. So Chloe, myself, and my mum all live in a mile of each other. So my mum always just attracts ladies of her age. I attract just a wide range, and Chloe also attracts a wide range. But myself and Chloe are seeing high numbers of slimmers. We're both seeing 40 plus slimmers a week. And we live a mile away from each other, and we are so different. Chloe's very, very athletic. She spends loads of time in the gym.
Sounds just like me.
Just like you. Just like you. She's, you know, we're such different people. We offer such different things, but we're both very, very busy, and we both live really close. So with regards to, like, you know, there being somebody for everyone, it's so true. It's so true.
And blogging your journey really helps get you out there, I think, because for me, I started blogging my journey because I did mummy blog it before, which we won't really talk about because it just is a shambles, but I did do it before. And, you know, I did a bit of ad work with it and what have you. It helped me through my maternity leave. But then whenever I started dieting, you know, I just wanted to step away from that and have a little safe space of the internet. Now, it's hilarious because now this page is like more than double the size of my mummy blogging account ever was. But I still see this Instagram as this little place. And I joked, didn't I, whenever the Bella magazine came out and they used a picture that I put on Instagram in my pants. And I was like, thank you for giving me the heads up for that. And Jamie was like, yeah, but it's on Instagram. Loads of people see it. And I'm like, yeah, but to me, Instagram's still this tiny little safe place for me. It's that
Yeah.
I use Instagram as a diary. I've made friends on here. Like, it's very different seeing it there, but it is so true. You forget sometimes, I think, the wide audience that you reach.
Yeah.
I think my account last week reached 1.5 million people, right?
Wow.
Which is just mind blowing. And you just think you would never get that reach with any, like, marketing you did, anything like that. So I think it's incredible, not just for the brand, because we're both so passionate about this brand. There's so many diets out there, but this one does work. Like, this one is, the best one.
Yeah.
But also for you, it helps get your story out there. And if you are looking at this as a business, I can't recommend blogging your journey enough, because you have all your marketing done. And what I would also say is the slimmers that come to you are really loyal. They're really lovely, because they've connected to you.
Yeah, exactly. That was another thing I was going to say. Like, people get to know us and know about us. We forget, like, how, like you say, you just think it's just you talking to a couple of friends. You're actually sharing all of your life secrets with hundreds and hundreds of people. But that's great, because when people do contact you, or people do come to you or ask a question, they feel, the amount of people who message me questions and ask things and say, well, hope don't mind me contact you. I'm like, my God, of course not. I'm really flattered. Like, I love the fact that you feel you can just reach out and ask me a question. And people, like,
it's so nice, especially in a world where we've had to go around for 2 years with masks on. We haven't, like, even said hello to people in the street, I felt like, because we've been so scared of talking to anyone, or getting anywhere near anyone, that having that, I love that. I'm such a people person that, for me, I love it. And sometimes I forget that people know things about me. Like, how do you know that I had an avocado shop delivered earlier? I'm like, oh yeah, I put it out on Instagram, that'll be how. But it is so lovely, and it is such a special thing to do. And I would say, if you're nervous about it, then just take baby steps. You don't need to blog your whole thing. Just set an account up, follow some accounts that inspire you. Record some videos of just you talking to yourself. Don't post them, but just have them for you to look back on, because, like you said, how quick 9 weeks has gone. Your journey, you're going to be at goal before you know it.
Oh my God.
And you've got all of this to look back on and remember that journey by, and also, send your slimmers back to.
Just to contradict exactly what we've just said, we think that everybody's watching us. Everyone's not watching us. And when we put stories out there, if somebody doesn't want to see it, they just flick past. They're not, like, deleting you. They're not, like, aggressively insulting you. They're just like, oh, I just don't want Catherine today. Like, flick on to the next one.
Yeah, bye, Roach.
Yeah, adios, bye-bye. But yeah, that's what it is. People think that everyone's out there, I don't want, certain people to see this or whatever. They probably won't. So whilst we have contradicted ourselves completely by saying, people watching, and, like, we build up these amazing relationships with people, not everybody is watching. Like, your ex-boyfriend probably isn't watching. If you are.
No, and you can go through and block everyone. Like, Georgie literally spent, I think, about 8 years, God alive,
honestly,
going through and blocking all these, like, 200 people.
When she put that post, and she was really emotional, saying that she was, she blocked all these people, and then she was going to unblock and da-da-da-da. I sent her a message. Now, bear in mind, I don't know her. I sent her a message and just said, I know how you feel. I know what you're saying. Blocking all those people, like, protecting yourself, protecting your little vulnerability. Like, that hit me, that did. And I just thought, oh God, love her.
But it shows her growth as well. And I think that's the thing that you kind of said earlier on about me, is you see that who you are when you start this plan to who you are halfway through this plan to who you are when you get to the end are just different people. Like, you really are. Like, I am, in my soul, I'm the same Rachel I was this time, last year, but I'm also a completely different version of myself. There's bits of me that are there, like, my morals remain the same, like, my core values are the same, but honestly, like, every other aspect of me is just so fundamentally changed for the better, just because of how much life, like, losing the weight. And I honestly feel like I was released from a prison. Like, I kept myself, that fat was a literal like, chains around me, keeping me away from everything in life. And now you had to have that freedom is incredible. And what that freedom can come from losing 1 stone. if one stone's holding you back from life, then losing one stone would be absolutely life changing.
Yeah. And I just feel that, you know, in a couple of months' time, I'm going to have lost all my weight, and I'm still going to be Catherine, but I am going to be so different, because I've had 6 years of making and raising children, and whilst
Yeah.
I'm still their mum, I'm working on being the best version. I want to be the mum that, you know, chases them like around the playground, which they laugh at and don't go, oh God. You know, there's a very small window of children's lives between, you know, being the best thing ever and being a total embarrassment. I don't want to waste that being, you know, I don't want to waste that being overweight. Like, there's going to be a time when they're going to be like, oh God, mum, wait down the road for me. But I want that to be for the right reasons, not because I'm overweight. I want it to be because they're too cool to have their mum in the playground. And I don't want to
Do you know,
waste
it's
that
so
window.
true. I remember one of my best friend, she came round the one night and Jamie was playing with Poppy. Anyway, we went out somewhere, and she said to see him play and chase her around and be able to do all of that with her just shows what a massive thing losing the weight gave to him in his relationship
Oh,
with
yeah.
her.
That's right.
Because he would never have been able to do that before. Obviously, he had arthritis and all sorts, so it wasn't just weight loss for him. Like it was the, you know, releasing that pain from his joints because all that extra weight was on him. And you're right, it gives you the ability to be a completely different parent. It's that, you know, it's that big that you can be a completely different parent.
But like,
And
I won't
obviously,
even look at clothes. I'm like looking at clothes, looking at you guys, and looking at people wearing things and thinking, God, I can't wait to wear something like that. And then I'm like, who will I be? Who will this person be in just 3 months' time? What clothes will I want? Because I remember after having Grons and losing the weight, going and getting all my old clothes out from my mum's house and getting stuff out and being like, well, firstly, I haven't lost as much as I thought I would. Like, don't you just have the baby and lose all the weight? But I was like, what even is that skirt? Like, I wouldn't wear that. Like, who is that person? And when you do that, when you have children, you do change into this new person. And then who's, you know, it's like, who am I going to be?
the same happens with weight loss.
Yeah, exactly.
It does. You're like,
who am I going to be
and
in a couple of months' time?
I think that takes a while. Like, I still don't think I'm there now. Like, I don't think I know. Like, I still get stressed shopping. I don't love clothes shopping.
No way.
But it's just because it's overwhelming. Like, I went, you know, for years I didn't have a style because all I was doing was finding what I could put on, like what would fit me. You know, I never looked at an item of clothing and looked at anything else other than what material is it made of? Is it stretchy? Is it going to fit on me? So to then look at clothes and not look at those things and look at actually what's that style, I think it can be very overwhelming to suddenly try and figure out what your style is, what suits you, and also having to come to terms with the fact you can become a size 10, but that doesn't mean that every piece of size 10 clothing is going to look good on you. Like, you know, there's that element as well, being like, oh God, have I lost enough? Or do I need to do it anymore? And it's, you know, there's a lot. I think there's a lot to balance when you lose weight. And then obviously now I'm having my surgery. I'm like, well, what's it going to be like after I've had that done? Like, what's my body going to be like then?
Amazing.
That I get excited about. Yeah, I get excited about that. I'm like, yeah, no, I think I could look at clothes now. And I love that you've had so I've always done like try-ons and had clothes as kind of goals, like I wanted to fit into things, and I know you are going to be wearing the pink trousers at convention.
Oh my God.
Do you find things like clothes and things like that quite like motivating to work towards?
Yeah, I do. I mean, like I said, like, you know, when you're losing weight and stuff, you don't know who you're going to be, where you're going to be, etc. But I do have a couple of dresses that I wore. It's 7 years ago. I was 30. It was my wedding, my hen do. So I've got a couple of outfits from that, like this one dress that, you know, I just absolutely loved, and I've still got it, and I'd love to get into it one day. I look back at photos, I'm like, Jesus, I looked amazing. And I never once looked in the mirror and told myself that. That is what I'm going to do. When I get that dress on, I'm going to look in the mirror and say, damn girl, you look great. That's what I'm going to tell myself.
You have to do that. Like, I do that now. Like, when I I know I joked about the pink trousers then, but when I got ready for convention, I literally looked in that mirror before I left convention. I was like, you look fit, like you look good. I and you have to tell yourself that you look good.
You spend so much time hiding and telling yourself you look shit. Oh, sorry, bad. Sorry. Yeah, I think it's, you know, you spend so much time being negative towards yourself that when you do get it right, you've got to. I mean, we all look back and say, God, I wish I was as fat as I thought I was.
I wish I was as fat as, like,
yeah, like, but it's just one of those things. I do have lots of clothes from before. In fact, I'm wearing some jeans right now from before Mary, so, which is amazing. I mean, there's only one thing better than new jeans, and it's old jeans, right? So to
100%.
get back into these jeans is amazing. But a lot of those dresses I'm desperate to get into. But will they be me then? They probably won't, because I mean they're all short. Like I'm on the wrong side of 35. I'm on the wrong side of 35 to be wearing, you know, those sort of dresses. But yeah, I can't wait to get into some of those clothes. And I actually bought a top when I came out of hospital. It was only in Sainsbury's actually. I think we'd come out of hospital and I'd gone into shop. I got into Sainsbury's to get something after having Mary, and picked up this top, and it was a size 18, and there was no stretch in it at all. I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing, I'm going to get this. And I went to put it on, I was like, wow, like I've changed. I just had the baby, like she's gone. Couldn't get it on, and then just hung it in my wardrobe. Anyway, I put it on yesterday, the other day, I just saw it, and I was like, oh, I wonder if that fits. I put it on, I was like, hell yeah, that fits. It's huge. It's not huge, but it was really, really roomy on me, when I just think, you know, that didn't fit not so long ago. And this top, before Christmas, at Christmas time, I would never have worn this top. And now I'm in it, and it's got no stretch in it, and it's actually a little bit big. I probably can't really get away with it much longer. It's amazing how.
And do you know what's important then? Like I always say to people, you have to throw them out. You have to get rid of them. You can't let that stuff like fester in your house, because the minute you keep like, so I've got probably, so in that, you'll probably see it 50 million times because I reuse content like it's going out of fashion. But me walking in IKEA in like a denim jacket, and I got a t-shirt on. Now that t-shirt at one point was one of the only items of clothing that fit me. That was when I was probably, I was at my biggest probably in that video, and that t-shirt was a 24, 26. I've kept that t-shirt. I put it on the other day, and it's literally past my knees. So I keep that, and I've kept my pair of leggings that I wore every day religiously, and randomly some Christmas jumpers, because, you know, the Christmas content. But everything else went in the bin. And I remember the day, I probably was when I was about my 5 stone loss, I was like, right, I need to get rid of everything now. And when I was packing up these bags of clothes, I found myself getting really angry and upset, and I was feeling all these emotions. And I was like, you know, when it takes you back and you're like, whoa, this is like a lot. And I realized how angry I was that I felt locked up in those clothes, that they weren't me, they weren't Rach, they weren't me, and they had so many negative feelings attached to them. And I realized I was feeling all that emotion very raw because I was bringing them all out of the wardrobe. I was keeping all of that in my life, all that negativity, I was keeping there. I was feeling like, whether it was feeling that raw in that moment, or whether I was letting that just sit in my background, I was still letting that fester in my aura, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And it made me realise how powerful it is to say, you're done, your time's done, you're out, you're gone.
Get out.
And getting rid of them. Because you're not going to go back to them. You need to tell yourself that, like, you're gonna do this right, you're going to get to go, you're going to work up the steps. You're not ever going to need to see those clothes ever again.
No way.
How do you feel about the steps? Like, because obviously a lot of people will be in your shoes now. They'll be on plan. Most people are on one of the lower steps. And we obviously have the steps program to help us get back into maintenance calories and reintroduce food in a really lovely, safe, non-overwhelming way. But how do you feel about that? Because a lot of people wanted to, people are either very excited, like, get me up the steps, or like, I will stay on 1B for the rest of my life, thank you very much. So I take it you didn't do the steps when you did the plan before because you fell pregnant.
Yeah, exactly that.
Very much like me.
Yeah, so then I just teetered around, you know, messing around with step 3 most of the time, telling myself I was doing step 3 between pregnancies and not really doing it. I definitely, so I'm coming up to week 9 now, so it's not too far away that I'm going to be getting to my 12 weeks. And as we know, when you've done 12 weeks on step 1, you do need to step up for a week to step 2. I'm definitely going to be using the step up meals. I am similar to yourself. I am not a cook. I can cook. I'm not a bad cook, but I just find it so boring. I just think, God, it takes me twice as long to make it and 5 seconds to eat it. Like, it's just not something that I enjoy.
I mean, I enjoy watching, ironically, like, I love a bit of Jamie Oliver at Christmas, a bit of Nigella Lawson on the telly.
I mean,
I
who
love
doesn't like
watching it.
Nigella? Who doesn't?
I know. But actually doing it, I'm like, it's a chore. Like, I always say I'd rather hang washing out and put washing away than I would cook something.
Yeah. And
so the step up meals are literally, if you've not tried them, one of my slimmers, she went from step 1B to step 2, but she was like, I'm going to try the step up meals, not tried them before. She didn't really have any expectations of them, ordered, like, I was like, look, have a couple of them, try them, let me know what you think. And she literally messaged me just, oh my God, game changer. And I was like, they're so good.
Yeah. Well, I've only ever tried the beef casserole because I am a creature of habit. I really like beef casserole. I tried it, I liked it, and that's the one I always go to.
Stuck with it.
Yeah, so I do need to try the other ones, and I will try the other ones in a couple of weeks. But yeah, that's definitely the route I'm going to go for the time being.
And I think it helps because it gives you that connectivity with food again, but you again don't have to weigh and measure. And I think that's what people find overwhelming. You know, I think we take for granted that some people have never weighed out food or input stuff into MyFitnessPal. You know, we can flippantly say log your food in MyFitnessPal, but we may have some that haven't even ever downloaded an app onto their phone before. You know, and that is a real challenge for them. I know I do a lot of screen records for my ladies now, like to go in and show them how to input stuff in MyFitnessPal and where to put it and how to weigh out their food, because it can be really daunting. But the step up meals take that away until you're ready for that, because you're not always ready at 12 weeks. Sometimes that's still very early in your journey.
Yeah, and I think it will be for me.
I mean, it was for me.
Yeah, I think it will be for me as well. I think I'll definitely be leaning on those step up meals, definitely.
Yeah, and I think then when it comes, I remember the first week I stepped up, I hated step 2, I hated it with passion. And then the second time I stepped up, it was like, okay, like I feel like I've got this now. Like I feel a little bit more confident with it. And then when I actually stepped up properly, then at the end of my time on 1B, I just went straight to step 3. I kind of bypassed step 2 and went straight to step 3. Yeah. Okay. Because for me, like you were saying, all that effort for such a small portion of food, it didn't. I'm very much like effort and reward. I want to be rewarded for my efforts, which is why I love this plan, because you get really good weight losses. So your efforts, you feel rewarded, don't you, for the work you're putting in? And step 2, I never got that feeling. I was like, I feel like I'm putting all this effort in to plan these meals and weigh my food. So Jen was like, just go to step 3, because you'll get more of a portion, more of a meal, you know, and you'll feel like the effort you're going to is more justified and worth it. And she was right, of course she was.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I sometimes say that to my slimmers now. If they're ones like me, if I see that in them, if they've really struggled with step 2 in the past, I say, okay, let's just go to step 3.
Yeah.
You know? The calories on step 1 and step 1B and step 2 are the same. So your caloric intake is no different doing either step. So actually, when you get to a point of stepping up because you're getting into maintenance, going up to step 3 and not doing step 2 isn't going to impact your maintenance or losses in any way.
No, not at all.
And it's different horses for different courses, like I said before. And I think that is the joy of this plan, is you can tweak it. I think people have this misconception that it's very regimented and militant, and it has to be done this exact way, and you can't do anything else. But actually, we as consultants are given a guidance and a framework in the steps, but I love the fact you can kind of dance around it to fit your slimmers' needs and what they want.
Yeah, and I think it's the great thing is, like what you should say, it doesn't have to be militant, but for those who need it, like you and I did,
It can be.
it
Yeah.
it is an absolute breath of fresh air. And people often say, "Oh God, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that." I'm like, well, I'm taking the easy route here. Like this, I'm doing the lazy route. I'm leaving all of the nutrition up to the one-to-one gods, letting them sort that out, and I'm just reaping the benefits of the weight loss. All I've got to do is put it in there and nothing else.
Yeah.
And obviously
100%.
supplements.
I think it really is. If you're someone who needs that control, and don't get confused with restriction and control. I think those it's very important that you see the difference in that, because a lot of us in the past would have been on very restricted diets that weren't nutritionally, sound. We weren't getting what we needed. One-to-one doesn't offer a very restricted diet, I don't think. I think it just offers a very controlled diet, which
Yeah.
when you're very out of control with food, it's like it just is somebody taking the pressure off. It's like somebody putting you in the co-pilot seat and they take over in autopilot and just let you sit back and just have a chill for a bit. And like you say, people were like, "Oh my God, I don't know how you do that." And I was just sit there with my cup of tea and my chocolates bar in an evening, being like, "Yeah, really difficult how I'm doing this."
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So what do you think your biggest thing is then this second time round that you've taken from plan compared to your first time? Is there anything that you've kind of this time been like, this is why this time is so different? Is there any real lesson you've taken from doing it again this time?
I've just stopped the bullshit, really. I've stopped giving myself options, giving myself excuses. I've stopped. And that is the thing about blogging it, the thing about telling people I'm going to do it. Like, the amount of, I've got, I say to all my slimmers, blog it, tell your friends and family, tell your work colleagues, tell everybody you're doing it. Go for it, stick it on Instagram, like go for it, put it out there. And the ones that do are the ones who are getting getting their goals, the ones who are they're taking it seriously, they're getting it. The ones who don't want to tell anyone about it, they're doing that because they want to give themselves an out. And I tell them
Yeah.
this to their faces, you don't think you're going to do it, so you're giving yourself an out, and that's why you're doing it. And I think that's what I've done in the past. And I think putting it out there, and I had a really tough day yesterday. If you've watched my videos and stuff over the last couple of weeks, we all had COVID, one at a bloody time. So Grania had it first, so I spent a week isolating with her, and then Mary got it, so I was a week at home with her, and then I got it and Lee got it, so we were a week at home. And then finally Rosie didn't seem to get it. She went back to school. Well, she went to school, and then the following day she came home and she tested positive as well. So I was off another week. And then she went back to school on the Wednesday, and then her teacher got it. So on the Thursday and Friday, her class was closed, and then it was half term. So I had 5 weeks of basically being stuck in the house. And whilst I found that hard, I didn't find it as hard as yesterday. Yesterday, everything just came crashing down on top of me. And whilst I was having major wobbles, I wasn't having major wobbles in that I don't want to do this diet anymore or whatever. I was just having like a life wobble. And today I just woke up and I was just like, sort your life out, sort yourself out. What are you going to do? Stop now? No. And today's been a great day. And I think it's because I just pulled my pants up and just said, like, get on with life, get on with it. And I've had a much better headspace. I've had a much better attitude towards it. And that's
just cutting the bullshit.
Cutting it.
Like food, like we always say, food, I know we all know it, but food doesn't fix everything. And as I was saying to a couple of my girls
anything, let alone everything. It doesn't. Anything.
So why this is it, and people would be like, oh, I had a really, I don't know, like I didn't feel well, or I had a stressful day, so I had to have a piece of toast. I'm like, right, okay, I don't understand how a piece of toast differs from a bar.
Yeah.
The bar is better for you. They're both food. What you didn't want food in that moment. You wanted comfort. And I think what I just had to say when I did this plan was, that is not a coping mechanism. In the same way that I gave it the fags, I couldn't have a fag. If I was a drug addict, I couldn't turn to drugs. If I was an alcoholic, I couldn't turn to alcohol. do have to get to a place where you're like, I'm just saying no, I have to say no to that now, because if not now, then when? When are we going to stop this? Because for every day that you give in now, you're only adding days onto the end. If you're telling me you want to get there, then you doing this now is just added on an extra 3 days on the other side of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Instead of just getting it done now.
I cannot be asked to do another year or another, 6 years of not being quite where I want to be. Went to the pub a couple of weeks ago for the first time. And, I haven't been out with my friends because I can't go out and not drink. I know, sounds really bad. But I cannot be trusted, right? So I don't go out. So, end of January, it was my friend's husband's birthday, so it's Paul's birthday. So I opted to babysit for them. My best friend's husband's
I remember you telling me this.
Yeah, so I went over to their house to babysit their children so they could go out. And they were like, are you sure you won't come? Are you sure? And I was like, I am not coming because A, I don't want to go out and put myself in a position where people are going to go, oh, go on, one of this won't hurt, one of that won't hurt. I'm like, no, it won't hurt you, and you won't care about me tomorrow when I'm pitying myself and guilty. So I didn't go. But a couple of weeks last week when the rugby was on, went to the pub, I took my chicken soup and I went in and we fed the children. They had a couple of drinks, not the children, our friends that we met. Lee and I had a Diet Coke each because he's on plan as well.
Go on, Lee, lad.
I know, what a lad. And he's lost the same as me, 2 stone 3 pounds. So, and he looks amazing. He looks so good. But I went in and I had my chicken soup and I was like, could I have a mug of hot water? And she was like, oh, we don't have any mugs. And I was like, looking at like the coffee station. I was like, well, can I have a gravy boat of hot water and a teacup then, please? She was like, okay. I made my chicken noodle soup in the gravy boat and poured it into the little tiny teacup. And I sat at the table and drank that. And I was like, do you know what? Here I am owning it. And that is the only way to do this diet. The only way to get round going out and putting yourself in positions where you don't think you can cope or whatever is just going out and owning it, putting it out there and just saying, this is what I'm doing. Like, if it doesn't suit you, stick your beak somewhere else. And that's all it is, because they don't care tomorrow. They don't care 10 minutes later, but you do. You're the one who's going to suffer. Like, not on the scales, because whatever it is probably won't, whatever. But that, you're the one who's got to justify yourself, probably in surrounded by a load of people. And the minute someone says, oh, you're not drinking, everybody goes, oh, Catherine not drinking. Like, so the easiest thing for me was to go onto my girls' WhatsApp group and say, girls, this is what I'm doing. You will support me because you're my friends. Mm-hmm. And all of them have been amazing. Every Sunday, I get a message from every single one of them individually. Have you got on? Have you got on the scales yet? Or then just the love coming from those girls. And let's face it, our girlfriends are they're the people that we love and we want to hear that from. They've been so supportive. And I just think, just going back to the same point we've made over and over again, is because I put it out there with no room for excuses. I said, do not try and talk me out of this. Do not tell me one won't hurt. If you're my friend, you'll support me. And I need to support. I need the support because I've never felt so crap about myself. And that made them listen. They were like, actually, yeah, we're going to make this happen, Catherine. So, which was amazing.
Love it. I mean, I can't think of a better story to end on our evening of just, I feel like this has hyped me up. Going to be going to the gym tomorrow, like, no excuses. There is no excuses. Come on, get out of bed. Go, go, go. But it is so true. And that is the only way to do this plan, is to say to yourself, parking the excuses. There's no other options. Blinkers, get it done. And you will bloody thank yourself at the end of it, let me tell you. So, Catherine, thank you so much for coming on this evening. Guys, if you've got any questions, if you're watching this back, if you're listening to this on the podcast, please leave them in the comment section. Me and Catherine can go in and answer them. Give Catherine a follow if you're not already, and go and share some love on her page, follow her journey, and let us know in the comments how you're getting on. Let us know the non-scale victories you've had. Let us know the occasions that you've got through by being strong and having no excuses and putting yourself at the top of that priority list. Yes, Catherine, thank you so much for this evening, my darling. I will speak to you very soon.
Thank you for having me.
Bye,
Thanks everyone for watching. Bye, guys.
Bye.